Hey there, everybody. Welcome to today's episode. I am thrilled that you are here. Hey, one of the things that I talk a lot about as part of the Scalable Business Academy and other programs that we have is the customer journey and how important it is to really dial in your customer journey along your signature methodology so that you are supporting your customers every single stage that they're in as they're going through a journey with you, both the buying decision journey as well as the delivery journey, right? Like what's happening as they're going through your signature experience or whatever else it is that you're doing. And so you've probably heard me talk about this before because it's something that I'm super passionate about. One of the things I don't talk as much about is the buyer's journey. And so I'm in the middle of a sales process right now where I am making a decision as to which sort of program or experience I want to join. And so I want to talk a little bit about the psychology of the buying experience, just because I think it's fascinating when you're going through it and sort of teaching about it at the same time. So one of the things that I had an aha about as I'm looking to join this high-level program from someone that I've been following for a long time. So I haven't worked with her personally, but I have been involved in different things that she's been doing. So I'm in the middle of this buying decision. And so it's interesting because I find myself like the form's all filled out. I'm ready to click submit. And then I stop and I'm like, okay, well, wait a minute. Like, why am I making this decision? What is my goal of making this decision? And what am I hoping to achieve or accomplish by making this decision? So I keep kind of stopping as I get there because I really need to think about this. And one of the things that was an aha moment for me, and hopefully this helps you as you're kind of thinking about the psychology of like why people are making a decision or not a decision on your signature program that you're selling or your signature experience, is that a lot of times it's not the price. A lot of times it's not all the things that you're offering or not offering, right? To be honest, when I'm looking at this offer, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty standard, right? It's got all the parts and pieces of it. I look at access. That's one of the biggest things that I look at. And so again, standard offer isn't really anything magical about it. Price point is solid, not really anything that I am concerned about. In fact, it's a little bit less expensive than I would anticipate spending for the type of offer that she's giving. But what the biggest thing is for me is whether or not I want to be paying attention to what it is that she's going to be helping me with. So it's not about her necessarily. It's not about the offer. It's about, am I willing to devote and commit to working on this thing that I will be working on as part of being a member of her experience? And that is, I think, the psychology of making a decision that we don't always look at when we're thinking about our buyer and why they're making a decision or why they're not making a decision. So for me, I'm like, do I have time to devote to making this a focus in my business? Do I have the interest and the capacity to be able to focus on this? Because it's not so much how am I going to go through her experience, how am I going to participate or not participate, what is the financial aspect of it? It's really like, is this where I want to be putting my time and attention right now? Because when you commit to an experience, when your buyer commits to your experience, you're asking them to make a commitment to their time and attention. And so even though what she's offering is something I know I desperately need to be focused on in my business, it is, do I have the capacity? Do I have the interest in having that be the focal point of my business right now? Or do I want to wait and have that be a focus of my business later? And so quite frankly, that is the biggest decision-making point for me in terms of, pulling the trigger on this offer. So it's not so much about all of the mechanics. It's really, is this something that I need to be focused on now? Or can I wait and do this later, right? I've got 4 million other things to do. Is this the thing that needs to rise to the top on my priority list? Or is it something that I can sort of shuffle in later in the year? So think about just this small piece of buyer psychology as you're building your offer. One of the things that would make this a more compelling sort of decision point for me, where I'd be like, oh, okay, well, this is obvious, is in the follow-up, right? reminding me why now is the time I need to be working on this and not 6 months from now or a year from now or some other point in time. And it's not so much about the urgency of like, if you don't do this, you're not going to get this thing. Although sometimes that's a nice little nugget in there to be like, oh, the top 20 people get this bonus thing. That's nice. But it's really about why now? Why do I need to have this in my business? Not why do I need to take your training or your program or your experience. It's why do I have to have this in my business? What is happening in the market right now, which makes this something that's important? What's the opportunity cost? If I don't do it now, here are the consequences. Here's what's going to happen if I don't do it, right? Looking at those pieces makes a huge difference. So talking about market forces, talking about different things that are going on, which, you may miss out on if you don't capitalize on the opportunity to make that change in your business, not to take the program, not to take the experience, not to join the whatever. How is it impacting that person's end goal? So hopefully this helps you just even thinking like if you're trying to sell something right now, do you have that piece of buyer psychology in your marketing materials, in your training presentation, in your funnel, whatever you're doing, however you're selling? Do you have that piece? What's in it for them to make a buying decision now versus whatever other kind of buying decision that they can make? So if you love this episode, just this short, sweet episode, make sure you send it off to a colleague, give us a rating so we can continue to publish awesome content for you as you continue to listen to the Scalable Expert podcast. All right, until next time, scale your business, not your calendar.